currently in Cannon County in Tennessee, and I'm at a new venture, Mountain Distillery, and I'm with Billy Kaufman, and you've set this up. Billy, you're originally from California.
That's true.
Why did you move to Tennessee, set up a distillery?
I moved to Tennessee about 13 years ago, and I moved here namely to be able to own a farm, and that was something that wasn't possible growing up in Southern California, and came here and soon realized that the price of land was significantly less than it is in California, and I was able to buy a farm.
And where did that dream come from of wanting to own a farm? What is the appeal for you?
I have a lot of strong feelings about the environment and sustainability, and I always wanted to grow my own food, raise my own animals, and be more self-sufficient. And also, I just think that food that you have a closer connection with is healthier for you and better for you.
Now, on top of that, you opened a distillery, a Moonshine distillery, in a dry county. Now, can you tell me what the process of that? I mean, that wasn't terribly easy, was it?
No, it was a long shot from the beginning. I soon realized that all the farmers that I was working with were also, they were moonshiners, and that's how they would really make their money, not with farming. Farming was more a lifestyle, and moonshining was a way to make money. And it wasn't too long before they decided they trusted me enough that they wanted me to have a still of my own, and I thought that was a great idea. But then the fear of getting caught and the fear of what that might mean led me along another path. And just at that time, it was very timely. Tennessee changed the laws and made it legal to open up a distillery in any county that allowed it, which basically meant they would have to opt in if it was a dry county. So this is a dry county. We don't have...
And this is the first distillery, isn't it?
This is the first distillery since Prohibition.
Or legal.
Since Prohibition in Cannon County. There were 18 distilleries in Cannon County before Prohibition.
Wow.
And there were thousands of distilleries in this country before Prohibition. So distilleries and farms have always gone hand in hand. It's only been in the last 50 years that that system has been abolished. Farmers always were able to grow as much grain or fruit that they could, and they would have a really great source to take all that extra product and turn it into a value-added product that would last forever. And if they were, in the case of grains, the distiller could then give or sell the grain, the spent grain, back to the farmer, and the farmer could use that as animal feed. So it was a twofer. You could sell your grain and still feed it to the animals.
Which you're actually doing here, aren't you? So you've actually got 300 acres.
Yes.
You also have beef cattle.
Yes.
And so can you tell me about that process of how the waste from the distillery is used?
Right. Well, we basically just take the spent mash, which is ground corn, cooked. It has all the vitamins and minerals and protein still in it. We've just taken out the starches and the sugars and turned that into alcohol. But all the good stuff that you want your animals to have are readily available, and even sort of processed so the animal even enjoys it a little bit more. So we then just pump that into a big wagon and take it out to the field and fill up a trough with it, and the animals usually love it.
Gee. And this property in itself, you've got some natural springs on here that have been used for quite a while for moonshining. I mean, there's a historical link to this with this property to the likes of Al Capone. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the original owner of this farm, at least the first owner that I've tracked down, was a moonshiner. His name was Cooper Melton. And he was notorious because his #1 customer was Al Capone. And we actually get our water from the spring that Cooper Melton used almost 100 years ago.
Wow. Now, with the recipe that you're using, you didn't just come in here and make up a recipe. you were using a traditional recipe and you actually got local people, some of which were illegal moonshiners, who are now working for you. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. When I started, I brought in the 3 best moonshiners in Cannon County, all gentlemen in their 60s who had been making moonshine, you know, collectively for 150 years.
Wow.
So, you know, I brought them all in, and I thought we would have a really hard time figuring out what our recipe was going to be, because my assumption was that each one of them had a separate recipe. But what I quickly learned was Cannon County has a regional recipe, and all the moonshiners, especially the old-time moonshiners, they all pretty much use the same recipe, and that's what they know. And they actually didn't even know that you could make alcohol from just grain. So really the secret of real moonshine, what makes moonshine authentic in Cannon County and most regions of this country, is white cane sugar. That's what moonshiners use. There's 2 reasons they use that. One is easy to carry, and another one is, you know, because you have to negotiate getting out into the woods. And the other thing is it makes really good moonshine. So when you taste our product, you'll find it to be very, very smooth. It's hot because it's high proof, but it's very smooth and it goes down very easy.
So let's break down what's in your moonshine. Like, for people who don't know what a moonshine is, what are the ingredients?
There's no secret to the ingredients. It's 70% white cane sugar. That's the most expensive thing you can put in a bottle. It makes our grain bill more expensive than Crown Royal's grain bill. It's just a very expensive ingredient. And then the other product is corn. So it's 70% sugar, 30% corn. Now, there's a lot of stuff that you do with that corn and that sugar, and it's the way you grind it and the way you prepare it, and the yeast and the sour mash, and there's microbes that in that sour mash that consume that sugar and corn and add flavor to it. So these are all things that are present, and that's sort of the miracle of fermentation, is that you have your ingredients, but you also have your microbes that are making flavor and alcohol for you, and they're not really quantifiable. In some ways, they make it almost seem like alchemy or magic, because you're getting something more than you're putting in. It's really a beautiful process once you understand it and sort of break it down.
So you're a fairly new business, Billy, so just coming up to 2 years. Yep. What have you got planned for the future?
Well, I would like to expand this facility. We have a 250-gallon still right now that we work almost constantly, double shift 5 days a week, and we're just cranking this out as much as we can because it's an excellent product and people want it all over the country, and we're even shipping it to Canada now. So
is there a bit of a renaissance with moonshine?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, I would say renaissance, but you say renaissance. It's okay.
Excuse my accent, please.
No. Excuse mine. Whose is right? So anyway, I think what's going on with moonshine is that there's a lot of interest in the concept of moonshine, but the execution of moonshine is so all over the board. I would say that 95% or more of the moonshine on the market today has never been made illegally. It's a recipe that has never been made illegally. And therefore, in my classification, it's not moonshine. According to the government, you can bottle vodka, tequila, rum, whatever you want, and call it moonshine.
Right.
There's no regulation of the word. But moonshine, what we have in this bottle, something that has been made illegally for a long time, I still think that most people have never tried it. And therefore, to compare this product to other novelty moonshines is a disservice to moonshine. So although novelty moonshine is having a big boom in this country, the real moonshine, the sugar shine, the recipes that have been made illegally,
Cannon County.
yeah, they just haven't been fully explored, or fully explored by the populace.
what I find interesting with you, Billy, is you're basically pioneering tourism in this region. And you're looking at opening a restaurant too. Can you tell me a little bit about your plans with the restaurant?
Right. Well, I'm helping open up a restaurant in Cannon County. We're calling it the Stillhouse Restaurant. And we've basically taken the farmhouse of this farm, and this 300-acre farm, which is in the middle of this beautiful setting, and we've totally gutted it and put in a commercial kitchen. We have a great local chef who's going to be serving a very light southern farm-to-table cuisine, and it's really going to allow people to come here, take the tour, try some moonshine, and stay a while and really soak in this beautiful setting, because there's nothing like it. We're sitting here and we're having this interview and the birds are singing.
It's beautiful. I mean, I came from Nashville, you know, an hour and a half away by bus, and it's to go from Nashville to here. I mean, it is really a beautiful, you know, it's a great, beautiful farm, and the Tennessee countryside too. I mean, it's summer here now, and I'm amazed how green and lush it still is for the middle of. Oh, you've had a good season though. Of course,
yeah, we've had a good season.
Yeah,
but
it's still a beautiful countryside. Undulating hills.
Yeah, it's beautiful. One of the reasons I love Tennessee, coming from California, is all the water. So not only do we have springs all over the place here, but we have rain in a, you know, abundant quantities, and it's like living in a rainforest. There's so many animals and insects, and the plants stay green and lush. It's just beautiful. And we have really lovely trails through the woods that people can go on. We have a disc golf course where people can play 32 holes of frisbee disc golf and explore the farm that way.
You've had music. You got a stage here. Have music here at certain times.
Yeah. We have music. We have a music festival coming up August 29th, and almost every other Saturday we have a band on this stage. So it's really a lively place, and we try and celebrate the culture that already exists here. So farming is celebrated, and the moonshine, the old-fashioned way of making moonshine is celebrated, and music is celebrated, white oak baskets are celebrated, art is celebrated, and Southern culture is celebrated. So that's really what we're doing. We're not trying to change anything here. We're just trying to celebrate what we already enjoy.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I found the place. I was looking for a place that was out in the country, bespoke, you know, small, keeping to traditions, and I found it here at Small Mountain. And thanks for your time, Billy.
Short Mountain.
What did I say?
Small Mountain. It's Short Mountain.
That fucked up that whole fucking take.
That'll be a nice cut.
That was fucking great, and then I go and fuck it up with